What's up, you guys? It's Juan Zuniga, and in today's video, like the title says, I'm gonna give you the reasons why I hate my Tesla. I've said it that I've loved it and all that. I've had it for about, let's see, 5 months now, almost 6 months, and there are some stuff that I hate about it. But overall, you know, this video is not going to be to say that I hate it completely and I don't want it, I will never buy it again. These are more little annoyances, to be honest with you. I think it's a great vehicle, and you know, if you're in the market for it, test drive it. But these are a few of the things that can make it or break it for you guys. So I'm just gonna give you a list of 10 things that I think that really suck, you know, and I hope it would be different. But at the end of the day, those things didn't make it or break it for me. I'm gonna keep the car. I'm actually thinking about doing something different here, and probably my wife's gonna keep this car, and you know, and I'll figure out what I get. But other than that, I think it's a great car. But let's begin with this video. All right, so the first thing that I hate about Tesla is the fact that it's not gasoline, if that makes sense. It's not that the fact that it's not gasoline, but the fact that there are not enough charging stations for me to stop, and the fact that it takes longer than pumping gas when you're on a trip. If you are only gonna drive it daily inside the city and close distances, it's a great car because you can just plug it at the end of the night or once a week and have enough juice for the week or whatever. But if you take long distance driving, or if you take road tripping, it is kind of a hassle. For example, there's gas stations everywhere. There's a gas station right there. I can just stop by, get some gas. It takes me, what, 5 minutes to fill up a tank or something? But I can't do that with the Tesla. I actually have to look for charging stations, and it has to be a supercharger, because if not, it'll take forever. If I find a Tesla destination charger, for example, it will take me forever to charge. It'll take me about 8 hours to get a full charge, you know, or if I take it home to charge it real quick, it'll take me, you know, 8 hours. So I have to go to a Tesla supercharger, and to be able to charge it, I think to 70%, 65 to 80%, it takes about 30 minutes. So that's an extra 30 minutes that you have to add to your trip if, you know, you're out of power. So for example, I'm in Port St. Lucie, and it takes me about 2 hours to get in Miami. I went to Miami for my dad's birthday. We took him to a restaurant down there, and on the way back, I had to stop at a Tesla supercharger because I wasn't gonna make it home. So I had to stop there for about 20-30 minutes to charge enough so I can make it home. You know, it was around, I think it was like 11:30 at night already. You know, it was late. I had all my kids in the back, you know, my wife. And so, you know, they were getting rowdy. They wanted to get out. They were done, you know. So it is a hassle when that happens. You know, in a gas station, I can stop at, you know, I was just in a gas station right there in that plaza. And then there's another gas station right there if I want to pump gas. And then there's another gas station over there, you know, and I can stop anywhere, pump some gas, and keep going. So that's one of the major issues that you have to keep in mind. There's not enough superchargers, and let me take that back. There's superchargers, and you know, in a good distance. So for example, I have one here in Port St. Lucie, there's one in West Palm, and there's like 4 in Miami. The problem is not the amount of superchargers, you know, they're not readily available at gas station, but the fact that it takes longer to charge than just pump gas. So that's one of the major annoyances that I have with that. Now, the next annoyance is that for the price, you don't get the same interior comforts that you get for same cars in the same price range. So this is the fully decked out Model X, performance, ludicrous, everything on it, you know, and you really don't get the same comforts of that same vehicle at the same price range. You know, at this price range, you can get a Land Rover with massage seats. You can get a Navigator for less that has massage seats, you know, adjustments of the seats 100%, wireless charging. For example, there's no wireless charging here. All you have is this charger right there that you can put your, and that doesn't come included. You have to buy it. It's $30 where you can charge your phone. Other than that, in here you have a Manscaped. If let me do a little interruption here. Remember, guys, that we have the Manscaped 3.0 going on right now. This is actually one of their props. I actually had it for a picture I was taking. We just left it here. We were doing photo shoots. This is the Manscaped 3.0. Remember, guys, is available right now if you click the link down below. And if you click the link down below and use the coupon code down below, you can get 20% off. You get free shipping. You get a DOP kit that is basically free and free underwear. If you get the package 3.0, which basically includes this, the crop preserver, the crop reviver, and the plow, and this little device right here. So this is the new Manscaped 3.0. And let me tell you guys, this thing is amazing. On top of being faster, it has 7,000 RPMs now. So it actually cuts your hair much smoother and it's much faster than before. On top of that, it's nick proof, so it's not gonna, you know, bust your balls down there and have a bloodbath in your bathroom. So it's actually very safe for your balls, and it's easy. You one pass and you're basically hairless. And also it comes with a little light, as you guys can see there, and that little light right there, it tells you if it's been charged or not. So check out the Manscaped 3.0, guys. This thing is amazing, and click the link down below so you can take advantage of the perfect package 3.0, and you get amazing. You're gonna get an amazing deal, free shipping, free products, and on top of that, you get all the other products that I mentioned. And I'm telling you guys, you're not going to be disappointed. So yeah, now we can continue with our video. Anyways, there's no wireless charging. There is a lot of space in here. There's a lot of space for everything in here. There's cup holders and all that, but there is no comfort, as you know, it only has warm seats. It doesn't have ventilated seats. You can only adjust your seat, you know, a few ways. For example, my wife's Lincoln Navigator, you can adjust the seats like 21 different ways. Here it's just a few. You know, you have the little lever right here, and that's enough. There's no massage seats, there's no cool or ventilated seats, just warm seats. You know, there's no controls in the back to control the AC in the back. You control it from this screen, which is pretty cool. But like I'm saying, like even the interior is a nice interior, but the quality of it for the price range, it doesn't match. You know, I wish it was a better finishing. It had more features to it than, you know, what it has. Still is a very nice interior. People love it. I like it as well. But, you know, there's just some comfort things that I wish it had that it doesn't for the price range for what I paid. Now, I bought the Model X because I wanted something with 3 rows, more of an SUV. I knew the size of it wasn't like an SUV, but I hope I'm making sense here. I wish it was more like an SUV. So, for example, my wife's car, she has a Lincoln Navigator. There's a lot of trunk space in the back, you know, and there's a space, you know, between the cars. You know, even little crossovers like the Volvo X90, I think it is, XC90, have more space than this. You can fit, you know, grown adults all the way in the 3rd row. I can fit back there, but it takes a lot more. You know, it is a lot harder. It's very uncomfortable for me to fit back there of my height. So, for example, these are kids' car seats, and you know, it would be very tight and not so much down there, but the headspace is very tight for that. So you can fit kids there, but really the adults should be here. So I wish it was more like an SUV where you can actually fit, you know, 5 grown adults back. The next thing that I hate, that at first I loved, was the fact, let me close all these doors, was the fact I loved this huge windshield. You know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty, you know, cool at first, but it gets really, really hot. Now, here in Florida, you can tint the windshield. There's a windshield tint, which is basically transparent, but it helps with the UV and the heat. But this windshield is so big that not a lot of people can tint it. And the people that can tint it are charging $1,000 to tint it. On top of that, yes, you can get, there is a visor thing that you can put here, but it looks hideous. So you don't want to do that. The car looks pretty cool, you know, that just looks hideous. Now, on top of that, when you're driving, the sun hits you. And the visors are pretty sucky. It's just this thing right here, and then you can make it a little bit bigger by putting this down. But still, because the windshields are so big, that visor is pretty much unusable most of the time. So it makes it really hard to drive sometimes, because the sun is actually hitting you from, let's say, right around here, where the visor's over here. So all that is hitting you. So you definitely need to wear glasses to drive around if the sun is there. And then, you know, but still you get that heat radiating through the windshield, and it makes it really hot. So you actually have to drive with your AC, especially here in Florida or in hot places. You actually have to drive with your, you know, car with the AC pretty high, because, you know, there's no protection from the sun really from there. So that's, at first was, oh, this is really cool, it makes your car feel bigger, whatever, but it is one of the biggest annoyances I had with this car. The next annoyance is with the system here. Now, it's pretty cool that, you know, I have Spotify, TuneIn, they have their own little streaming thing, so they have stations that you can listen to, your phone, Bluetooth, and, you know, you have the radio, of course. Let me turn that off. But there is no Apple CarPlay, and there's no Android Auto or whatever. So that's one of my biggest annoyances, because sometimes I wanna have my phone connected so I can use Waze, so I can, you know, have my phone, you know, I can play my music that I have for Apple or whatever. Because I have Spotify and Apple Music. So that's an annoyance. You know, I wish I could have Apple CarPlay in the car, because when I had it in my Raptor, I use it all the time, to read my messages, to have my Apple playlist going on, to use Waze. I use Waze a lot instead of Google, just because it tells me who the police officers are, where, you know, I just like it better. But, you know, the maps are not bad. I'm not gonna say that the maps are, you know, it's Google basically. You know, and I have Spotify, but I wish I had Apple CarPlay. That's one of the annoyances that I have that I wish was different. And while we're on that, the other annoyance that I have is with the Bluetooth. Every time that somebody calls me, they have issues listening to me. It's very bad. They say that I sound very far away. So I usually use my speakerphone, or I just put my, you know, my phone to my ear normally, because it really sucks. If it's a quick call or, you know, a quick thing, you know, I can use it. But other than that, it sucks. I wish they would, you know, update their software or whatever, and to fix that. I don't know what it is, but they say that my Bluetooth, you know, when they're on the phone, sucks. So that's one of the other annoyances with this thing, with this system, that I wish they would fix. Now, cargo space is limited, you know, compared to other SUVs. Yes, for example, let me open it up. You have a front and you have a trunk. So if we go back there, we can see that we have a trunk back here. So there's enough space back here to put some stuff, and then this comes out, and you have space. Maybe I've had two big luggages, because you can make this bigger basically. If not, you can just put this down and you have that, you know. But it's very limited, especially because of the seats back here. My wife's back has up to probably over here in trunk space, and on top of that, you know, the slanted window doesn't help, because it removes, especially if you have that thing at the bottom. The next thing, yeah, we have the front, but there's really not a lot of space in the front. Maybe for two carry-on, not even, two duffel bags, or one carry-on and a duffel bag. But, you know, it's mostly for groceries. If you're going on a long trip and you're doing road tripping, this definitely is not a car to go with the whole family. So for example, I bought this car because I wanted the whole family, all 6 of us, to fit here. So if I wanted to take this one on a long trip, on a long road trip, and we had a few luggages in the back, you know, and, you know, for the kids, you need to take extra clothes and stuff like that, we maybe fit 1-2 big luggages and then 2 carry-ons. This is another example. For example, I have kids, I need to take a stroller as well. So if you compare it to Jose's car, you can put a stroller and luggages in. Yeah, it's not a 3-seater, but still. If my wife's car, I can put luggages, I can put strollers, and I can put all that without any issues. And still, I can put some luggage, you know, between the seats and stuff like that. So it's something to keep in mind. You know, if you have a big family and you need a stroller and you need to take luggages and all that, this probably is not the car for you. It's if you don't have another car that you can take road trips with. Luckily we do, so we're fine with that. But, you know, I wish again, I wish that window, even though it looks cool, I wish that window was higher just to fit people back there and also to be able to fit more stuff in the trunk. Now, if you look right here, these two are for automatic wipers. So if it's automatic sensing or whatever, and if you're driving and it starts raining, the wipers start going on and off. My biggest issue is that it's in beta mode. So it really doesn't work that good. Sometimes it's drizzling. I've had automatic sensing on my wife's car. I've had it in my Mercedes and stuff like that, and it works pretty good on that. So I don't understand how such a high-tech vehicle can get that right. So I've had it on, and sometimes it's been raining and it doesn't work, or it's just drizzling, and then all of a sudden this thing starts going crazy back and forth, you know, like literally this speed, like, and it's just drizzling, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes it's not working at all. So it's a little annoying, especially being such a high-tech car, that simple stuff like that don't work. Now, the other thing is that this car does not like cold weather. When it's cold, you know, it doesn't get even that cold here in Florida. You know, we've had 40s, 50s. And I've seen a drastic change in my range when it's cold. And I understand it, you know, because the battery needs to keep warm or whatever. You know, so the car is constantly, even when it's parked, is, you know, trying to keep warm. So that's a big issue, you know. So especially if you live in northern in northern states, you're gonna have that issue if it's snowing or if it's very cold. You're gonna see what they call the vampire effect, or the vampire drain, where, you know, if you're gonna drive 20 miles and it says that, you know, instead of, you know, getting the 20 miles, you're probably gonna, you know, you're gonna use up like 50 miles, because it's draining the battery a lot more just to keep warm while you're driving. And on top of that, if you have it parked outside or you have it parked out there and it's super cold, it's gonna start draining the battery. So you have to be constantly charging more often. Now, if you don't have a charger at your house, that becomes a hassle, because then you have to go to a supercharger and charge more often than just once a week. If you usually do once a week, or if you have a charger in your house, you're fine, because you just charge it every night and you're good to go. But if you don't, that's a little bit of a hassle. So yeah, I saw it here, especially about 2 weeks ago. It got cold. It got to about around 40 degrees here in Florida, and we were having that issue or I was having that issue where I would see my range not last as long as usual. Usually I charge it once a week, and here I was charging it twice a week now. So it's something that you have to keep in mind, especially if you live in colder states or even colder countries. And finally, the final thing is that insurance is higher. It has nothing to do with the cost of the car, because I've had cars that are more expensive. Jose has had cars that are more expensive, and the insurance hasn't been that high. For this one, the insurance was way higher, and I saw it and I was like, holy crap. And just to give you an example, for 2 cars, I was paying about $400 with Geico. And right now I only have 2 cars. I have my wife's car and this, and it went up to $600 a month. So it's something to keep in mind. It's something that I always look at when I buy a vehicle. I run a quote with my insurance company to see how much it would cost me to have that vehicle, because I don't want to be paying, you know, big amounts. And this time, for whatever reason, I didn't, because like I said, I've had vehicles that are more expensive. Jose has had vehicles that are more expensive, and it just never crossed my mind. But then, you know, it was an issue, and I've been reading it, and it was because, you know, they're a little bit more expensive to fix if something happens, and which is understandable, you know, but it's something to keep in mind. And I hate the fact that I'm paying more. I mean, it is what it is. So these are the 10 things that I think that I hate about the Tesla, but really they're just little annoyances. They haven't taken me to the edge where I'm like, all right, I'm getting rid of this car, I hate it. No, it's actually a pretty cool car. It's a fast car. It's just that if it's your only car, it might be annoying, especially with road trips. Like I said, there's not gas stations available, and you have to add that extra 20-30 minutes each stop that you do, instead of just 5 minutes and keep going. If it's cold and you're road tripping in cold, your range is going to be less. So it's things like that is stuff that you have to keep in mind, and for some of you guys, it might make it or break it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've had this Tesla for 5 months, and those are the only 10 things that and I actually had to think about it. I had to sit down yesterday and be like, all right, so what are 10 things that I hate about it? What are, you know, do I really hate this car? Because like I said, we're moving to New York. I had to see if it was worth it, me keeping it. And then when I thought about it, then there was more pros than anything. And I'm like, no, I like the car. You know, it automatically parks itself. So if you don't know how to parallel park, you know, you can just use it and it'll park perfectly. That's why my wife's gonna take this one, and I'm probably gonna get rid of her car, and I'll buy something for me. And but it'll probably be something for gas related, that way we can have an electric and a gas, and we'll be fine. So yeah, basically that's what it is with this car. 10 things that I hate and that I mostly dislike, but you know, they're no big deals if you really love the car. It outweighs everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope if you're looking into a Tesla, these things are pretty, you know, standard in all Teslas. So I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time.